Going live. We are live. Welcome to the studio. This is the year of the studio. This light is way too bright over here. Let's turn it that way, if we can. Maybe turn this one that way. Does that look better? Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Welcome to my studio. The closet is open, and that looks suspicious. Looks like something might jump out. Not literally, obviously. Because there's nothing alive in there. But hey, somebody's here. Welcome. We got a couple different things to talk about. We got a couple different things to do about. Look at this. This is the device where the things will get done. This thing's going to transform quite a bit today. In the next few minutes, this is going to transform quite a bit. Although I think the handle might be pretty near done. Pretty near. So, but I also had a dream about this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of the design changes that are going to happen as a result of that dream. We're going to talk about a couple other dreams. We're also going to talk about how I went to Alaska. And that's why we didn't have live streams because, Alaska. And then, we're going to talk about a couple different things. We're going to talk about purpose. We're going to talk about, I just got a lot to talk about, I guess. Hey, Dad's here. Carrie Lee's here. Oh, geez, we basically got the whole team back together. So that's good. I'm glad everybody's getting back on. I was a little worried in my head that, since didn't do it last week and the week before, I think. So I went 2 weeks without doing it. I was worried that people wouldn't be as fast to show up. But we got some rewards for that this time. We'll get to talk about that later too. Assuming I don't forget any of these topics. I'll almost certainly forget to talk about something. But yeah, and in terms of this room, I don't think much has changed other than the amount of books. We went to a big conference, so we got a bunch of new books, and that's the primary difference. Oh, and I started a bonsai tree. I'm planning on taking a picture of the bonsai tree every month, and I'll eventually build a time lapse out of all those photos. But although the first picture will be on July 1st. However, this is the pot that eventually, once I repair it, because it's got this broken, obviously, that's obviously broken. But after I do some repairs to this and some preparations to this will eventually be the pot that the bonsai tree will be in, at least for the first few years. Eventually, I'll move it into a tree, as every bonsai tree should be. But soon, probably either this year or next year, I'll move it into this. So hopefully I'll have it ready. I plan on getting it ready now, so I don't have to think about it again until the tree is ready to go in the pot. But we've got so much other stuff to talk about. But we might as well talk about it while we work on the hammer. So, the mallet, I mean. So let's start by talking about a dream I recently had. About the mallet. Now, I dream about the actual things in my actual life all the time. So that's a relatively normal way for me to work out problems in my head. A lot of times when it comes to art, one of the things I enjoy about art is if you take it slow enough, your subconscious parts of your brain, your heart, these things get to speak to you in different ways. And sometimes if you give them enough time to process, they'll speak to you through your dreams and through all sorts of different things. And so anyway, we're going to talk about one of my dreams, which was in the dream, I was working on the mallet, and I was basically, I looked at it and I was like, hey, you've been working on this almost every week. You think about it when you're working on it. You don't think about it outside of it. And you haven't been thinking enough about how it's going to end up looking and whether or not it's going to look good. And it can look rustic, which, that's what we're going for, as you can tell. We're going to leave a lot of these scars on here. That's my plan anyway. But that doesn't mean you don't have to take pride in the quality of it and really make it look good. So here's two things we're going to do differently that were given to me in that dream, which is, if you want some specifics of the dream, I'll be honest, I don't remember most of the dream, but I remember the conclusion of the dream. The conclusion of the dream was that in order for this to really look like a beautiful mallet, I basically have two options for making it look beautiful. Either I give it kind of a crow's beak shape, right? Like kind of wedge out a bunch of this, kind of curve this a bit more, and kind of build almost like an eagle's head sort of shape on this side. Whether or not I'd actually like whittle it into that, that's another story. But I could either do that, some sort of hook on this side, because like really, like that's not a beautiful shape. That's like the shape of like I don't know, like a big artillery shell or something. It's just a boring, stupid, silly shape. So either some sort of hook on this side, or uh, which really, when you're making it out of wood, there's not much practicality for having a hook on the thing. Or the other idea was aim for symmetry and give a nice flush line like this one over on this side. Okay, so although which is funny though, because in the dream, I had this side was already cut like way back to here, so it was like it didn't it like the solution was, hey, you need to cut it the same as the other side. But in the dream, this side was all messed up. It was like cut way back to here. So like I was like, well, I guess I got to cut it back to here. So it's like this. I was like, well, when I woke up, I was like, well, that's awful. But the idea is true, and unlike the dream, my version has all of this meat still on it, and it will actually look like a hammer. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna measure this and measure it out here, and then we're gonna cut this side off and make it flat like this side is. So that's the plan. We're gonna do that today, and I think then we will be ready to put the head officially on the handle. So I think today is a pretty big day uh, for the mallet. It's gonna be a pretty big day. It's gonna be a big deal. So I'm excited. Is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the thing I'm trying to say with my words. So in terms of the mallet, that gives you an idea of what we're doing today, or what I'm planning to do today. Got the table is kind of in the center of the room nowadays, which I like, but it's also taking up a lot of the room that way. So I'm thinking I might move it into that corner over there, and that'll also put the window behind the the table as well. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You'll see. You'll see in the next video. But all right. So I'm gonna start measuring. But while I do that, oh, I don't see a pen or a pencil anywhere. There's one. While I do that, I'll talk to you all about Alaska. Now, last week, or not last week, the week before, we, as you may have heard, went to Alaska, me and Erica. And if I'm being honest with you, it was pretty great. So the first day up there, let me tell you first why we were going up there. We were going up there for a program that Erica used to run. That they are starting up there. It's a program for their youth camp, and it's a really cool program called Disciple Track, whatever. And if you're in the camp space, you might know about it, or you might find out about it sometime. I'm not here to make advertisements for summer camp, although obviously, like, look at this awesome shirt I have, Lake It Easy. But anyway, summer camp, big part of our life. It has been for a while, and Erica started this program, has been a part of this program at multiple different camps, and so they asked her to help them start it up in Alaska. She was their first week presenter. You end up with three presenters, and she was the first one. And so that meant a week of going up there, and she was doing presentations every day, and then I was volunteering, and however I could, whatever they needed. So pretty quickly they found out I like maps. And I was like, and he was like, well, we don't have a map of our camp. It'd be super cool if you made us a map. And I was like, I've never done that, but sounds like a load of fun. So I made them a map. I currently have the map with all the precise stuff done. What I haven't done is I haven't finished like drawing out an artistic rendering of it. So yeah, that's the plan. But so I need to do that still since I've been back. Probably should just hit this with a knife first. Make my life easier. When you're gonna use a saw, a lot of times it's easier if you like notch it out. I mean, it's kind of common sense, but I almost always forget to do it. So. Doesn't really take that big of a notch to successfully serve its purpose, but the bigger the notch, the easier it'll be. But Dad, I would do a hammer on one end and a hoe on the other. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I would use a hoe for in the wooden context. Because I'm definitely not going to be moving, like doing stuff with this in the dirt, because that'll get dirt into the wood and it can get dirty and stuff. And I'm going to keep it pretty clean. It'll be exclusively for woodwork. But yeah, a hoe could be nice for like prying things apart, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But the dream said a flat end. I'm going to do a flat end. That's what I'm doing. Once I've made up my mind, it's hard to change it. And that dream, I don't want to say it was compelling, because there was nothing mythical or cool or awesome about the dream. But I did make up my mind, and when I make up my mind, whether I'm right or wrong, I usually tend to follow through with it. So. There we go. So anyway, we went up to Alaska for a week. First day there, we get there, and the conference puts us up in their basement. We stayed. They have like a hotel room or whatever we stayed in. Pretty nice. And that first night, we had blackout curtains, and we didn't really realize how important blackout curtains were going to be for our Alaska lifestyle. Because you see, the thing was, the sun only goes down. The sun doesn't go down. It's daytime all day. So the sunlight technically goes past the horizon, but the sunlight, like, it's still putting light over the horizon the whole time. So it's basically like, like that dusky, muggy time of day, or not muggy, but like the like kind of indecisive time of day before the sun really disappears, where it's like the sun has gone over the horizon, but the light from the sun hasn't stopped, so there's still plenty of light in the sky. The sky's still blue, right? So it was like that. The sun would set over the horizon, and then you'd have like that dusky time of day where the sky is still blue, even though the sun isn't there anymore, for 4 hours. So you'd have that from 12 o'clock till 4 o'clock, and then the sun would rise around 4 o'clock, start the cycle again. But yeah, 18 hours. I think I remember right the math of like how long the actual like daytime was. But nighttime was just as bright as daytime. Like it was all the same. So it was weird. You know, it'd be crazy if you lived near the North Pole and you were there during the summer and it was nice, and then every year during the winter you went to the South Pole and enjoyed the nice weather during their summer. It'd be crazy. How's your sweetie feel about the sawdust in the house? She loves it. She loves it. Well, no, she loves me, and this is my room. No, yeah, she knows what I'm doing. Yeah, she knows about it. She knows I clean it up. That's what she knows. She knows I clean up after myself. Although sometimes a little late. I haven't actually cleaned. The room has been a wreck ever since we left. Because we had a camping trip, and then we got back from the camping trip. We were here for like 2 hours in the morning. Then we went to Alaska. Then we went from Alaska to Kentucky, and then we went from Kentucky back to here. So we haven't been back. So, but it's been a mess for 1 or 2 days. But I clean up. It's wood floor, so the sawdust just fills in the cracks. And over time, with a little bit of oil and time and sweat, it all becomes the same thing. Set this down over here. There it is, folks. Huzzah! It's a paperweight now. But or a mouse. That'd be cool if you hollowed this out. Because look at the shape. I mean, that's pretty similar to a mouse. If you hollowed that out and like took the internals from one of these and put it in one of these, not gonna lie, that'd be pretty freaking cool. Okay. Anyway, ideas. I got too many ideas. I always have too many ideas. Okay, let's see what it looks like. What do you think? So we went to Alaska. Slept pretty well. Let's see here. Is that good? Is that good? That side looks good. That side looks pretty good. I don't think it quite looks perfect. Oh, it looks pretty dang close, though. Yeah, alright. I think that'll work. So that's the way it's gonna look, folks. Yeah, that's the way it's gonna look. Like that. That's the good side. Yeah, there we go. Bop, bop, boom, bam. Bop, bam, boom. So, and then our first day there was our only day off. So the rest of the time we were there working. But our first day there, it was a Sabbath. And so they took us for a road trip. We did like 100 and something miles, almost 200 miles, I think, of road tripping that day. Just seeing the sights. And we went around. It was some pretty cool stuff we saw. We got to see the Kenai Peninsula, which was super cool. Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it? Doesn't it look good? It looks like something a badass would use. I mean, that's always theoretical, but you know what I mean. So we went and got to explore the Kenai Peninsula a little bit. Didn't really get to do any hiking, which was a little bit of a bummer. But we got to drive around and we saw, I mean, just beautiful mountains there on the Kenai Peninsula. So we got to see a lot of mountains, and that was wonderful. And then we stopped at a wildlife preserve, and that was pretty cool. We got to see 3 huge bears. 2 of them were brown bears, you know, the big ones that are along the coastal bears, and then one of them was a grizzly. She was a bit smaller. And yeah, they were pretty cool though. They were really cool. And then the wolves weren't out. We didn't see the wolves. We didn't get to see the wolves at their enclosure. But the reality is their enclosures were big enough that the animals are sometimes just not there. You just don't get to see them. So there's plenty of people that go there and they don't ever see one of the bears. And we got to see all three at the same time, playing with each other, hanging out. So that was cool. The irony is that the right tool for putting this in is a mallet. So that's funny and stuff. But also, I want to make sure I get this lined up before I do that. Okay. But it was really cool. I've never seen big brown bears anywhere near that close. That was definitely the coolest and closest I've ever seen them. We had, obviously there's a fence between us, but still very cool. I've seen black bears that close before, but never brown bears and never grizzlies. So yeah, I'm probably gonna post them to my Backroad Preacher Instagram at some point. I don't know if it'll be soon or not because I haven't finished posting all the wedding pictures, and that'll definitely be first. But it's pretty cool footage. And then let's see here. Then we also got to see porcupines up close, which I've never seen porcupines up close, and they don't seem like they'd be a big deal. And I wasn't excited to see them, but those are cool little dudes. Those are some seriously cool little dudes. In person, like up close, I mean, he like walked up to me and like just like 2 feet away from me, like crawls up on the chain link fence and looks at me. He's like, "It's 9 in the morning. What are you doing?" And then he just climbed back down. Like he literally like crawled up there, said something. I don't know what he said because I don't speak, whatever. But he was looking right at me, said it, and then just crawled back down this chain link fence. So, but he had a character. I mean, he was walking around and talking to people, and like, you know how they kind of talk a little bit to themselves, like whenever they're walking around, they're like, just kind of, it sounds like somebody mumbling to themselves. But he just like walked around doing that, and like he was active, walking all over everything, and like he would go up to the side of the thing to check out people and look at different people and see what. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but he was entertaining. That's for sure. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Didn't know I would. Got to see a bunch of moose, caribou. One that I didn't realize, muskox. Yeah, of course. I don't know why I was surprised by that, but and we got to see coyote. I've seen coyotes pretty close. I don't know if I've seen one quite that close, alive, but coyotes aren't that exciting just because being around farms very much, they're not great. But Luna, was there something you need to say? Oh, thank you. Cool, thanks. She's a goofball. Oh, somebody else is here. I see a third person. Oh, they're gone. They're gone. I don't know where they went. But the question is, which hammer is the right one for the job? We got a normal, typical hammer, and then we got a big 20-pound sledge. Way heavier than it needs to be. We're definitely not going to use this one. We're going to use the hammer. Oh, hey, Mom. It's you. It's me. It's hello. Welcome. You're here just in time to see the whole thing put together. The 2 parts finally becoming one. Are you excited? I'm excited. Holy cow. I'm super excited. We'll see if it goes well. Now, the key to this is relatively simple, which is gentleness, but still enough force to get the job done. So, irony and difficulty. We'll see. Let's see if I get it right. And if I don't get it right, it's okay. You can always start over and build a whole new hammer. It's no big deal. But this is definitely the most intense moment of the whole process. Because in theory, once I get this thing in far enough, the only way to get it out is to cut the thing apart. So, let's see. And then I have to build a whole new handle. Which, to be fair, I mean, I could use the practice, I guess. So it could be good. Mom and Vern are also going to go to Alaska this year at some point. I don't remember when. I think it's in August. But it's going to be great. She says, show me an aerial view. Let's see if this is what you mean. Do you mean like that? Is that what you're picturing, Mom? Sorry, I still gotta set you down in order to keep working. But that gives you an idea, hopefully, of what it's like, what we're doing. I probably should have looked up on YouTube a little bit more about this part of the process before I did it. But I'm all about trying it. Learning it by trying it. Yeah, getting to see the bears was really cool. And then porcupine was pretty delightful. The moose are cool too, although they don't have their antlers right now, obviously, because it's spring. So they just got little stubs getting started, but they're still cool. I always love the buffalo. Buffalo are pretty much always my favorite, almost. So I enjoy the buffalo. There we go. There it is. Ooh, there we go. It's getting tight. I can feel it tightening up. Yep. I can barely move it now. Okay. Oh yeah, starting to split, which is good. Well, it's not bad anyway. Oh yeah, it's super tight now. I can't move it at all. And if it didn't split and do that on its own, I would have to split it later anyway. So it actually makes good sense. I need to go to the hardware store. I keep forgetting to, and get some little I forget what they're called. They're like a type of staple. They'll go in there and split it the other way. But it split on its own, so that's good. All right, there we go. That's pretty cool. Pretty good. Here, I'll show you guys how flush it is. Look at that. See that? It's nice and flush. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and get it a little bit past flush. So I want to get a little deeper, because the reality is I'm going to cut off that whole top section once I'm ready. So let's see if we can find something that I can set on there, and then I can hammer it a little further. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that when I put the pin in it. So. Oh, the split I was talking about. Yeah, I can show you. So, if you look closely here, you can see, so this was all one piece before, right? It goes through here, this red part. Well, as I got further in, this side ended up being quite a bit tighter, which is fine, than this side. And so this side wanted to push out. You see how it's sticking out past that point right there? And whereas this side is pretty flush up against the front. And so what that means is that it had to split in the middle in order for this side to travel that way. When I put the staple or pin or whatever you want to call it, it will go this way, and so it will push everything this way and that way, so this direction, that forward and back instead of side to side. So what this did was, we put this in, it spread this up to the sides, right, and made it super tight in here. What it didn't do is spread this front ways and forward back ways. So that's why we put another one in this way. So we'll spread those that way. That's how we maximize our tightness. So it's not a perfect fit. It's not as good a fit as I would have liked, or as I have sometimes had in the past, but it'll do just fine for this kind of tool. This is kind of a rugged, simple kind of tool. So, but there it is, permanently affixed. The only way to remove it now, this is kind of sad. There's only two ways to remove it right now. One of which would be a little bit negligent on my tools, which is if I were to take the auger that we used before to drill this hole originally, and I drilled out the same hole, right? And so I drilled out the handle. But the more responsible way to do it, because that would be, because of all the tension and tightness that's in this as it's squeezed in there, because of that tension and tightness. Although it probably could have used a little bit more. I almost wonder if I should have made the shim a little bit wider, but I didn't know that before. But because of all the tightness, it'd be pretty hard on the auger to drill through that. It could probably do it. It probably wouldn't like harm the auger, but it'd just be a lot of work. Whereas instead cutting it off right here, much easier. I can do that with a Leatherman. So yeah. And if you didn't have a saw and you were out in the field and you broke your handle and needed to replace it, instead of cutting it out, you can always burn it out, which is slower, obviously. But yeah. So there we go. Boom, boom. Functionally speaking, in many ways, although not always, in many ways, it is now a finished product. If I did nothing more to it, I could use this for months or years. But the reality is, I'm going to do a whole bunch more stuff to it still. So, things we're still going to do to it. Obviously, what I said about putting another split in the top, I'm going to do that. I'm also going to cut off the top so that it's flush. I'm going to pound this in further. The handle, I'm going to smooth it out a little bit more. We still got a little bit more whittling to do on here. We don't have much whittling to do up here. But we are going to do some sanding. We'll do some sanding on both, actually, I guess. But yeah, realistically, the whittling I'm going to do on here is also going to be sanding. Then I'm going to hit it. I'm going to do some I'm going to decorate it in some way with wood burning. Do some wood burning. I haven't decided what kind of design I want to put on it for the wood burning. So I know some of my cousins watch these at least occasionally, and I know your parents also watch these occasionally. So if any of you guys have if any of you viewers or your kids have ideas for what kinds of patterns you think would look cool on this big mallet here, what kinds of patterns you think would look cool, I would love to see some drawings. If you can send me some drawings, one way or another. I don't really care how you get them to me. Facebook's probably the easiest way. Facebook message them to me, some pictures of some drawings, and if you guys send me more than 3 options, if you guys send me 3 or more options, I will choose from one of those options. Let's put it that way. If I only get 1 submission, I might or I might not choose it. But if I get 3 or more, I'm going to use your ideas. So I think that's really cool. So I'll do a bunch of wood burning to decorate it because I just want it to look pretty. And then we have the process of oiling it. And oiling it is really where that's where things are done when you start oiling it. Because flowers is not a bad idea. Mom, go ahead, draw me up some pictures of some flower designs that you like. And once we oil it, that's basically the finishing point, because when you penetrate it with oil, everything expands. So that will be the last expansion of this, and that'll also be this will also expand. So everything will expand together. A lot of these cracks will seal up when we do that. Even just doing that little bit of the process that we just did right now, one of the big cracks that was in the handle is now sealed up because of all the tension that was applied as we pounded this top thing in. So some of the cracks, especially the smaller ones, probably won't stick around once we oil it. They might. It depends. Mountains, that's a great idea. Do some owls, some mountains and owls from Alaska. We can name it after Alaska. We can name it after the Kenai Peninsula or something. Oh yeah, that's a great idea actually, because we'll be finishing it within a few weeks of having probably not this next week, but the week after. The wood burning might take a while. We'll see. I haven't done wood burning in a long time. But yeah, we'll be getting done fairly soon here, and that was one of the adventures along the way. I mean, but also getting married was one of the adventures along the way. So polar bears would be cool. Yeah, polar bears, brown bears. I think I like brown bears more than I like polar bears. So I'd probably tend toward a brown bear, but it's a very good idea to put a bear on here with some mountains. That'd be a good combination, good combo. An owl. Yeah. So there's lots of good ideas. Draw some pictures of them. I'm gonna write down all the ideas that you guys are given today. So we'll have some written ideas that I can do, but I want to see some drawings. I want to see drawings from you guys. I don't think there's a way to post pictures in the comments of YouTube videos, but if there is, do it. Let's do it. So yeah, man, that's so exciting. And then after it's oiled, at least the first 3 coats of oil, then I'm gonna put a wrap on it because I prefer having a wrap on all my tools. So that's the plan. That is the plan, Stan. My goodness, that feels good in the hand. Woo-wee! Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Whoosh. Whoosh. It's such a big hammer. Where's my other big hammer? Let's put them together. Let's see what they look like together. This one's a slightly different energy, partly because obviously it's significantly heavier. But I mean, like, those are kind of similar sizes, you know. So this is much lighter, but this is hefty. Realistically, this one I don't use for hardly anything, unless I really need to put a lot of. The reason it happened is because once upon a time, I got trapped in a blizzard trying to get a tire off of a car with John Roney, and we couldn't get the wheel off for the life of us. And we were using an axe to try and do it, a small axe. And I was like, man, I don't ever want to get trapped in that kind of situation without a sledgehammer ever again. But I also, back when I had smaller cars, I didn't want to have a full-size sledgehammer in the car. So I bought this unnecessarily heavy sledgehammer, and then I just made it short enough to not take up so much room in the trunk, so that it could fit into the little compartment thing. So, but nowadays I don't really have much of a use for it. I have, in the Suburban I have big stuff, and I live down here in Keene, Texas. So the likelihood my wheels are going to freeze to my car is pretty slam. But the likelihood I need to do some woodworking has gone up significantly since I've been here. So I'm pretty excited. Pretty excited. I don't know if you can tell this, but I'm pretty excited. Pretty stoked. So yeah, we're very close to being done now. That's that. Let's see here. In terms of other stuff to talk about, I did do some writing today that wasn't for the book, so it's going to be public. I'll be I did 2 poems and 1 dream this week that I wrote down, and so the 2 poems I'm going to post today, like immediately after this. I'll be posting them to my Patreon. That's where I post my writings. So you're welcome to become a patron and see that. But also, then I've got a dream coming out. It's probably only like a page long short story sort of thing. And that'll probably be out in the next few days or something. But yeah, that's some stuff I've got going on. I am so glad to see all of you guys. Obviously, we've still got more stories to share. I'm excited for next week. I will see you same time, same place. Ciao.